What's up, health and wellness class? Today I'm going to be taking you through an average upper body day for me. I'm waiting on my pre-workout to kick in right now, so I'm just going to talk through the first bit of my workout. I like to warm up on the treadmill or some kind of cardio machine, 5 to 10 minutes at a moderate pace, or until I'm sweating so I know that I'm properly warmed up. From there, I'm just going to do a little bit of static stretching and dynamic stretching of the muscles that are involved with whatever exercise I'm doing. So for today, it's going to be upper body. I'm going to be stretching out the chest, the rotator cuffs, getting the back nice and loose. And me personally, I stretch minimally in the beginning of my workout. And before every exercise that I do, I like to do a couple warm-up sets. And sometimes no warm-up set at all, just feeler sets depending on how warm the muscles already are. Warming up is important for decreasing the probability of injury, get your blood flowing, and actually the act of warming up and getting your body physically warmer, it helps loosen your muscles and get you more limber. But enough of that, let's get into the workout.
So I'm starting off this one with some lat pull downs. I take an approach to warming up where I dynamically warm up as I work out, if that makes sense. So this first set is really just a warm up / feeler set. I do about 10 reps at a weight that I can do for maybe 30 reps, just to get the muscles moving, get the mind-muscle connection going on. Then I'll increase the weight to a more moderate weight that I can hit for maybe 6 to 8 to start getting the muscles more engaged. And then I will hit one more rep at my desired set weight or very, very close to it. After that, I'll put on my lifting straps just so that I can eliminate my forearms from the equation, and I'll get started on my main lift. So here, the thing I want to highlight is rep speed and technique. Technique is king. You can see here that as I'm lifting, my technique stays the same throughout all reps. I take a really, really slow eccentric and I explode on the concentric. And as you can see here, as I'm approaching failure towards the end of my set, technique does not break down. Rep speed slows down a little bit, but we maintain that technique. Next up, we got the bench press. Me personally, I love hitting lats before bench because I can feel my lat pump and I feel like it lets me hit bench a little more effectively. Here I'm doing the same warm-up pretty much as on lats because this is the first chest exercise of my workout. And the thing I want to emphasize here is a brief pause at the bottom. That pause kills the stretch reflex and forces me to reverse the weight with pure muscular control. Biomechanically, what this does is reduce that sudden bounce out of the hole, and it's easier on the shoulders, pecs, and then all of your tendons that are involved, cutting injury risk and improving strength out of the bottom because you're not relying on that reflex. And again, I want to emphasize here, you can see even on these reps where I'm really, really grinding, the only thing that changes is the speed of the rep. I still complete the technique with as close to perfect form as I can. As you can see, even as I'm approaching failure here, form does not break down. The speed breaks down, it gets a little more grindy, but I never shift in my form. Next up is the lying bicep curl. Because my upper arm stays vertical in this movement, the bicep stays under tension through the full range of motion. Great for creating continuous force and a hard contraction at the top. With exercise selection, I choose the lying bicep curl or the Bayesian curl because of my goals. I want to get as big as possible. I take a very bodybuilding based approach to a lot of my technique. Training style can vary. The style and technique that I'm demonstrating is not the end all be all. It really depends on your goals and the things that you want to do with your fitness journey. But if you are looking for a hypertrophy based bodybuilding approach, you might want to take some notes from what I'm doing here. Speaking of taking notes, that's the next thing I want to touch on. I always take notes on the reps, weight, and type of workout every week. It's the only way that I can get myself to progress. And of course, taking pictures and flexing helps to note visual changes. So as some of you may or may not know, I was in the Army and I did get injured in a couple of places, but I want to show here that this machine was really, really tweaking my right shoulder. So what I ended up having to do was use it on my forearms to get a nice stretch and to actually do the movement. In these kinds of instances, no pain, no gain does not apply. If you're feeling any sort of sharp pain, modify the movement, or immediately stop and find a different exercise. Don't force yourself to do something that's painful just for the sake of doing it. There are better ways.
The gym closes at 1, I didn't realize, so just gonna go through a quick cool down, get the heart rate back to normal, and stretch out a little bit. I still have 4 or 5 more exercises, but I think I'll be doing those at Paradise. I'm gonna go straight there and get the rest of this workout in. Thanks for watching. You know, just to reiterate, the most important things when you're lifting weights is, you know, slow on that eccentric, get as much out of it as you can. Feel the muscle fibers actually stretching and breaking apart. Once you get to that lower end, you don't want to bounce out of the hole. That's bad. It won't hurt you right away most times, but the force and the biomechanics of it, you know, as you're coming down, you get maximum stretch here. And if you were to just explode out of the hole, you're reversing the force of the muscle. So you can risk tearing a ligament, tearing your muscle. It's just not worth it. Slowing. There's some nuance to that, actually. I'm always skeptical to say something is always the way to go, so let me talk about it a little bit. I wasn't necessarily wrong, but not necessarily right either, if that makes sense. Let me put it in a way that will get my point across, but still stay accurate. So when you hit the bottom of a lift, like say squat or bench, the soft tissues are at their most stretched position, right? If you immediately try to bounce out of the hole, you'll create a force reversal, and you can risk getting an injury because of that. Because if you don't give the weight time to stop, what's happening is you have an uncontrolled descent, and as soon as you touch it to your chest, or as soon as you hit the bottom of the squat, you immediately reverse the weight. That weight, the momentum, is still carrying it down. So by reversing the force suddenly without a pause, it spikes tension in your soft tissues, which can lead to tears and just wear over time. So instead of rebounding out of the hole immediately, what you should do instead is control the eccentric and then press or stand back up controlled. You can explode up, but after a short pause. And by controlling the movement with your muscles instead of just letting your joints take the brunt of the force, you'll more than likely lift longer and have a happier weightlifting career, you know? I kind of rambled on a bit towards the end there, so I'm just gonna do the outro here. Thanks for watching. It was really fun making this video and like walking you through my workouts. I believe I only got 4 or 5 in there, but there's a lot of juicy points and like lots of tidbits that you can take and research on your own. Really, really great stuff in there. Not to toot my own horn, but yeah, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.